100%. Let's move along to our next segment here. And we are lucky enough, truly lucky enough, to every single Friday to have somebody from the Emblem Vault team. Emblem Vault, they're building something truly special. They're building AI Agent Hustle. He's going to be able, he's the future, right? I mean, we all see this future of AI, and we're not like putting it into crypto. And AI and crypto are the most two things that are going to blow up the hardest right now, and that is what is happening, and Agent Hustle is on the forefront of that. There's not many. I've been actually doing a deep dive and using some of these AI products, and they're not even 25% what Hustle is. It's absolutely eye-opening to me, to the point where I was like, I need to get as much Hustle as I can. I'm so bullish on what they're building there. But not just that, they're also building another platform. It's one token, two platforms, which is insane. They got Migrate Fun. Migrate Fun is helping a lot of people who are stuck right now, stuck in these liquidity pools that they can't earn from, that some of them are just so big and so heavy that you can't even move the price. It's kind of ridiculous. When they're actually coming in, they're solving a lot of problems, a problem that they had themselves, and they're actually helping a lot of teams. But not only that, they're also building a way for you to migrate or move your NFT from chain to chain to chain. It's absolutely extraordinary with Emblem Vision as well. I mean, this is amazing stuff, guys. Game-changing stuff. So without further ado, let's bring up Jake. Jake, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, sir.
What's good, fellas? Man, game-changing. That's awesome to hear.
I mean, is it not, though? Is it not? Like, honestly, outside looking in, like, pretend you don't work there. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah, it is. The further we get to building all these products, just the more solidified my thesis is that we're a crypto logistics company, and that's pretty much the majority of our services, and that the interoperability sector is just severely underpriced. And we're seeing this right now with the Layer 0 versus Wormhole bidding contest bidding war for the Stargate bridge, which has 2 million in revenue and is being bid at 2 million in annual revenue, and currently has a bid at 110 million, and Wormhole is supposed to be bidding much higher. So it's kind of wild to see that a bridge is getting 50x multiple on its valuation compared to its revenue, because Emblem's actually not that far off from that. And if you combine, Migrate Fun and Emblem Vault and Agent Hustle, we have expectations that could be much higher than that at some point in the future. And we're planning on growing it. And we haven't even released our own fungible token bridge, right? So at the end of the day, just moving assets across launch pads, across blockchains, across protocols is a very big business. And in the real world, the global GDP of the international and domestic shipping industry is about 7.5% of global GDP. And I think crypto could be in that similar realm where, 1 in 10 transactions is some sort of wrapped action or bridged action or vaulted action or migrated action, I guess now.
Do you see it becoming like more popular across all different tech stacks though?
Yeah. I mean, the way that I look at the crypto industry and the way that we internally try to, I guess, think about how the crypto industry is very similar to the real world. Like, for example, we've said this for years, but Bitcoin is mostly an export chain, right? You're taking Bitcoin and you're wrapping it in different ecosystems to use as collateral. You're bridging runes to go trade on Solana or on ICP, and you're taking counterparty assets and trading them on Ethereum, right? So that's not going to slow down. That's only going to accelerate. And with Migrate Fun, it's just a good example of different types of vendor lock-in where, you have lock liquidity in these LP pools, and users want to take the training wheels off and go move to their own pool or to a better ecosystem that best supports their needs and wants. And in the real world, this happens literally daily with businesses. They pack up and leave the city that they're in, or they move countries, or they move industries because there's better incentives or more growth opportunities. And, you're just seeing the human nature element of this just play out in the digital world, but it's going to be at a much larger scale. Maybe this takes 5 years or 10 years for that to play out, but Amazon is one of the most valuable companies in the world for a reason. And the most profitable business ever to exist, which is the Dutch East India Company, was also a shipping company, right? So at the end of the day, we believe that Emblem can be one of the most valuable companies because this idea of interoperability is going to be so valuable to the industry. Just with more launchpads, more chains, more ecosystems, which means you're going to need more bridges and more ways to move between these different chains. And I don't see that slowing down. I only see it accelerating, especially with the growth of AI and intelligence to make this a much more frictionless experience than the current kind of wallet web extension methodology that's being used.
Yeah, I actually agree with that a ton in terms of integrating the AI part, making it just a good user experience. But more than that, speaking or viewing it from a commerce perspective, with tangible assets that get rolled into these RWA digital relationship, Emblem could be that true like shipper, right? Like where you're talking about. Let's say that I have a Charizard card, I turn it into an NFT. There's this market. Now I want to take this over to, I don't know, base or something like that. Emblem could play a role in that. And that's where I think like the volume could really start to get really crazy, because now you're dealing with digital and like RWA, which become digital assets. Do you see a world like that in the future?
Yeah, Emblem is what I like to call the great bundler. When you disrupt industries, you're either bundling or unbundling technologies. And Emblem Emblem has an ability to do RWAs. You could do fungible tokens, non-fungible tokens, right? Migrations, faulting protocols, AI, etc. The technology is so vast because literally what it is a tokenized wallet, right? So if I could take a deposit address for any chain and insert it into any blockchain, you could literally do pretty much anything that you want, especially with the advent of smart wallets, right? So now you're basically putting a deposit address for any chain inside of a smart contract, and you know what is the future potential there? It's almost unlimited. We just need more devs and more resources to be able to explore that. But you know, crypto is like every blockchain is its own country, just as every blockchain is its own internet. And you either live in this thesis that you're going to basically have dozens of different internets existing independently, or you're going to have one giant intranet where all of these chains can communicate with each other and move assets. And if you think the first option where they're all going to live independently, then essentially crypto is pretty ossified where it currently is today. And if you think that a lot of these chains will have interoperability and users are going to want to move assets between them, then there is an exceedingly high amount of room to grow.
Yeah, man, 100%. For the vaults, it's pretty self-explanatory how to deposit. You basically send to the wallet, done. You get an NFT on the side that you're going to, right? Could you kind of walk us through the process of unvaulting or getting your asset out back to the original chain?
Yeah, unvaulting is pretty simple. You just go to the Emblem.Vision site, and you'll click a button that says unvault. And what an unvault does is it basically decrypts the private keys that are stored inside of Lit Protocol's TE environment. So you take the private keys, decrypt them, and then the NFT that's associated with the vault is burned so that the vault essentially becomes non-transferable. And then you get the private keys or seed phrase, and then you just go import the seed phrase into whichever wallet it is for whichever asset is stored. The process itself can be simplified a bit more, and that's kind of what we're progressing towards with Emblem 2.0. But with this methodology, it allows you to basically bridge any type of asset because you're simply just you're doing it at the private key and seed phrase level. You're not doing it at the messaging and smart contract level. So at the ED SCA wallet level, which is one step kind of lower, and it just gives you just full functionality. But obviously, with having users handle private keys and such, like that's for where we're heading. That's not going to be something that is going to be sufficient for most users. So we're going to have to essentially handle that automatically in some capacity, whether that's Agent Hustle that kind of does that for users, or whatever it is. But as of now, I mean, 9 in 10 vaults that are vaulted, or even higher. I think it's like 95% of vaults that are minted are never unvaulted. So, you know, it's essentially, it's somewhat of like a black hole, where once people realize this idea of token abstraction, and once we integrate and build this jump tool where you could move the vault to any chain with the click of the button, I don't see why people would ever want to unvault their assets, because you just have this unlimited functionality. Obviously, when you unvault it and you hold it on a self-custodial wallet, that's the highest level of security that you could have, because you're reducing the amount of attack vectors. But for, you know, full functionality of taking a Bitcoin puppet to go farm on Abstract, or to go take a vault on Solana to go do XYZ DeFi capabilities or functionalities, then, you know, that's the future that we want to build. And I think there's just still probably hundreds of different ways that you can use a vault that have yet to even be explored.
Yeah, I mean, I think having the option in itself is, you know, in knowing how to do that is important. But you have Memetics in the chat saying he does less than 5% of unvaulting. So basically, you vault it for a reason, and that's to use it in different environments and all that good stuff. But yeah, so do you see a future in the near future of being able to do like that, being a popular thing, being able to take like a Bitcoin puppet on Abstract and having protocols being built to be able to stake in different ecosystems and stuff?
Right now, there's not really an incentive for people to bridge their NFTs. And from what we've seen so far, there needs to be for people to do it. The reason why counterparty vaults and trades on Ethereum is because the incentive is that's where the liquidity is, because of the native functionality for counterparty assets is quite limited, right? The same thing for Namecoin and some of these other ones. But with with ordinals, and you could even say CryptoPunks or Solana assets and stuff, right? Their native functionality is fine, so they don't need to bridge. So for us, you know, over the beginning of the year, as we were talking with all these different L2s, there's a bunch of people who want to partner and bring assets, but right now I just don't see the reason for people to bridge this stuff. So I mean, we've built our own application that we want to release to try to incentivize people to vault and participate in, you know, speculative economies with their multi-chain NFTs. But you know, I've just become a lot more certain that there needs to be something more. And so as we do with Emblem, if the partnerships or the incentives are not there, then we're just going to have to build it ourselves, which is what we've already done. We just have to time the product at the right time.
Yeah.
Love it. Amen.
Well,
All
I
right.
want to ask one more thing real
Yeah.
quick about this, and then we can move on to another topic. So ideally, how do you want the experience to be with Hustle in this? Do you want it to be like Hustle, what do I have in my vaults? And then Hustle says, you have a puppet, big stuff, and then I say, okay, Hustle, well, take my puppet over to base and stake it in Yago B's ordinal staking protocol. Is that the experience you guys are looking to add for Hustle?
I would say it's really to be determined. It's funny because I was just talking with somebody else in DMs about this. They were asking, "Hey, when you expand to, you know, these XYZ chains and EVM and such, like, what's your expected TAM? Like, what's the expected users?" And I'm just like, dude, I have no idea. Like, if I could make up a number and tell you if that's what you want to hear, but all of this technology is so new, and like for AI specifically, you have a few thousand people using this. So if I move to, you know, these new chains, it's essentially all new users at this point, right? So there's no way to really predict that. And it's the same thing with AI and interoperability. Is what's the experience look like? I don't really know until I start building it. I could kind of theorize that what you're saying is directionally right, but this is kind of my builder hat. Just putting my builder hat on, is there's so many unforeseen circumstances when you're building, especially with like when you're on the frontier of technologies that don't exist and there's no real template to do it. You have to kind of prepare for the unexpected. And so, you know, I don't really know, because AI is going to continue to evolve, interoperability and Emblem is going to continue to evolve, and you know what that crossroad looks like in the future. That's what we're just going to have to kind of explore. But
yeah,
you know, it's the definition. It's not the sexy answer people want of saying yes, or yes, this is going to onboard 50 million people. But if you're really authentic to building in public, then you have to be proactive in your building practices, but reactive in the adjustments. And if you are not in this situation and you're trying to be proactive in both scenarios, then you're going to limit the upside because you're not listening to the market data and making decisions based off of what your users are telling you, and you're making decisions based off of the blueprints that you've built.
Yeah,
that makes
100%. And with everything coming like RWA, I keep hearing RWA, we're going to need a way to move these RWAs from chain to chain to chain, right? It's not going to be, if they're expecting, $10 billion trillion or whatever the number is to come, on chain, we're going to need a way to move them around, especially if they're, non-fungible, like, most things are in RWA. So yeah, really excited for that. But I want to jump over to the most exciting thing that you guys have right now, and that is the Migrate Fun. You guys are going to be doing your first cohort. It looks like the first or second week of September. I wonder if you can get into that a little bit. It's exciting.
So we started our audit on Monday with Halborn. This is something that a lot of people wanted to do, and it takes time, upwards of a month to get this done, but it's the right way to get it done. I had to basically sacrifice my future firstborn child to get it paid, but it's underway, and we'll see. It's going to be a few weeks, and once that's done, we're going to onboard the migration teams to the platform, individually, one by one, and once they're all set up, then we're going to launch the platform. So expect a great migration wave in September, mid-September at some point. There's still a few things that have to be determined. We have about 15, 16 teams that have announced. I think there's another 5 or so that are supposed to announce. We're getting new requests literally every day. There's at least 2 or 3 teams that reach out every day. There's a few teams that commit. You have to go through the conversations. You have to do the business development. I have literally over 100 Telegram chats with these different teams. A lot of teams are also interested, but are watching to see kind of what happens with the first group. And I think there's going to be a lot of fireworks. It's going to be really interesting, and the demand is only continuing to grow. And the interests the first group we're migrating to Radium and to Bonk Fund, and we've established a really good relationship with them. There's been a lot of other teams who have reached out, a lot of our community members who are also reaching out to other products because that's what they wish. And, we're at the subject to our token holders to follow what they want. And so we're just going to continue to try to navigate those areas with partnering with the right type of people, building in the right direction, and most importantly, allowing these teams who want a fresh start and a new opportunity to be able to migrate to their respective domains that they want to, which further enhances their growth potential and opportunity of success, which is the most important factor here.
What are some reasons why a project would want to migrate? Like, what are you hearing the reasons why to do this?
Generally comes down to 3 or 4 kind of main common denominators. The first one is LP rewards. That's like the most common one. For the majority of teams migrating, they're on Pump Fund, where there is no reward mechanism because they launched like kind of in the earlier days before Pump Swap existed. So they want to receive some of those rewards. I mean, depending on what the fee mechanism is, but for most, it's generally 0.3% swap fee, right? So every $1 million in trading volume is $3,000 in revenue, right? So some of these coins are doing millions of dollars of trading volume a day, and they're just leaving it on the table. So they want a piece of that cake. Whether they move to Bonk Fund to participate in like the shared LP rewards in a more curated experience, or they want to move to Radium where they take complete ownership of the LP, but also comes a lot more responsibilities. It tends to differ. It seems like a lot of the larger teams tend to kind of gravitate more towards their own pool, right? Because the larger teams are a little bit, they either have VC funding, or they have a larger team, or they have larger ambitions. And essentially, they're just ready to take the training wheels off. That's kind of what I see a Launchpad as. Whereas the vast majority of people, though, want to go to Bonk Fund because it's a hot ecosystem. The Bonk brand is pretty good. The team is also really good as well, and really on it. And there's a lot of developments going on in that ecosystem, and it also represents a lot more of their needs. The second point I would say has to do with the token treasury. Most people who launch on Pump Fund, this was us included, you don't buy enough of the supply up in the beginning. And so eventually your token takes off, and most of these teams have left less than 5% of the total token treasury, right? So they want an opportunity to regain some of that share through whatever kind of unclaimed process that they want to implement based off of the tooling that Migrate Fund provides. And the third one I would say is kind of a rebrand and a fresh chart. You can kind of combine these as both. This was also what we did from Tensorium to Hustle. I think there's about 7 teams who are rebranding. And on top of this, they're going to be rolling out new products after the migration is done, which is similar to what we did. So we set up a good example. We launched Agent Hustle V3 the day after the migration ended, and it worked out pretty well. And so a lot of teams are looking at that and saying, hey, I think this is a good blueprint for us to follow. And the fresh chart is just like something that a lot of people like, but not really many people discuss, because when you start with a fresh chart, the majority of people who are trading think it's a new token. And obviously, where does speculation flow to? New tokens, right? And so you could you could eliminate the typical pump fund chart that has a giant candle up, giant candle down, and then kind of just consolidates into perpetuity, and get something with a more clean look that attracts these different types of traders.
I think the example that you gave for kind of getting started is like really overlooked, and maybe not even just recognized much, because one of the hardest things to get a strong token going is setting up a strong liquidity pool. But these launch pads, what they can do is help you with that, because they lock it. They don't allow the rugging of that part, right? And so what you can do is kind of get started, get that community started or that project started and established, and then once you feel like you said you're ready to take the training wheels off, you manage your own pool, or if you have another reason to go with another launch pad because of co-marketing or something like that, you can do that. But really managing your own pool gives you the ability to add more liquidity to it or take away depending on the market conditions, right? And so it really helps. It helped you guys, so
yeah, it's been interesting building this Migrate product out the last 2.5 months or so. You get like a really good front row experience to the Launchpad Wars and to all these teams. And what I initially thought was a battle of token issuance is actually a battle of lock liquidity. So it's an interesting position to be in, because we're essentially allowing business to leave a platform, and also an opportunity for business to come, right? So essentially it's like your friend and my enemy at the same time. So I think from like a business standpoint, maybe that's something that's a good position to be in. Will be kind of to be determined. But from the teams, they're also noticing this as well, getting caught up in the social warfare of the Launchpad Wars, and they don't want to participate in that anymore. They want to go to somewhere where they feel a lot more comfortable, and whether that's Bonk or Radium or kind of whatever their requests are, that is something that I think is only going to continue, because the training wheels of a launchpad has a lot of upside. It also has a lot of downsides. And after some point, I think like the bonding curve math of the LP and kind of how the launchpads are set up, it actually prevents long-term growth. And we see this through Pump Fund and some of these launchpads that have most of the tokens have a hard time sustaining a market cap over like $10 million. And it's because of the like compounding liquidity that gets thick, and also just too many tokens in the LP pool itself. So it prevents like volatility on the upside and downside after a few months.
Yeah, man. So right now we're talking about, launchpad to launchpad or launchpad to LP on Solana. But what if I was a project on Base and I had a good community and it's just not growing enough because Base really isn't growing as fast as I wanted to? Could I potentially take that and bridge that, or bring all that LP to Solana?
Yeah, we have cross-chain capabilities. It's not built yet, but it is something that we could do. It's something we're exploring. We have conversations with a bunch of teams on Base, from like Uniswap and Aerodrome to some of the larger ones, both asking about Agent Hustle and Migrate Fun. I think Base is probably the next ecosystem that's going to need a migration platform, because you have the growth of lock liquidity pools between Virtuals and Clinker. I think Aerodrome is building a launchpad, and obviously with lock liquidity comes comes the opportunity for a migration platform to come in and play. The demand though is actually quite low. I mean, 9 in 10 people are asking about Solana, and so the majority of people, we've gotten maybe 1 or 2 people asking about moving from Base to Solana. And actually, this morning there was one team that said they're moving from Solana to Base, and that was actually like the first time I've heard that of over 100 teams that we've talked with. So I think like Solana is definitely the ecosystem this cycle. Maybe continues much longer, and you know, we're going to go wherever the demand is, but obviously the opportunity of Base, I think, is probably the next ecosystem that we're going to expand to for Migrate Fun.
Yeah, and that ideally retail comes back and things maybe stabilize a bit more, and we have a top 3 type of ecosystem, because you could to where there's enough business on Solana, maybe BSC and Base, but obviously we're not there. We only have enough liquidity right now, I feel like, to where one really stands out and the others kind of are a little bit below. They still have good volume, it's just not the same.
Yeah, I mean, Solana is it's a lot more free, I would say. Like, I think maybe because it's like free and open. It, to me, from building on it the last year or so, the demand and trading volume over there is just significantly higher than Base. Also, the builder, I guess you would say the builder community is quite large, although it is growing on Base. But with migrations, right, you need to have, for migrations to exist, there needs to be an ecosystem or a launchpad that grows large enough to where users need to take the training wheels off at some point, right? And so for most projects, it doesn't seem like they're at that current stage on Base. We did see like Billy Betts, they migrated from virtuals to their own Base contract, right? So you want to see more of that to be able to build a migration platform over there. And you just don't really see it yet. Doesn't mean that it's not going to exist. It will exist. I just think the Solana ecosystem is just, months or years ahead in terms of the incubation of projects in a launchpad that need to migrate to their own contract or to a different ecosystem, because the competition is increasing. And maybe the Aerodrome launchpad will kind of increase that that necessity for teams wanting to move, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah, well, the biggest I think possibility, I would say variable to make that a possibility would be if we are in full-blown bull alt season, and now Coinbase has Aerodrome directly for these retail usually level 1 people that can buy, and they're learning, they can go into Base right away. And Kraken has their own ink chain, so maybe they attempt that. And BNB has BSC, so that we haven't seen what that looks like in a full-blown bull market, right? To kind of onboard them to their chains, because that's the idea I think that they're trying to have here.
Yeah, the competition is good. I think they're kind of just 2 different ecosystems, two different battlefields. The Aerodrome automatic listing to Coinbase is interesting. So I'm working to see how that unfolds and talking with their team to kind of see what the procedure is there, right? You could see kind of a future where if that's capable and Migrate Fun expands to Base, you could kind of see a future where, hey, if you're a Solana project or a Base project and you want to do a migration, we'll use the Emblem fungible token bridge, and we'll take some of that recovered Solana or ETH and bridge it to Aerodrome, where you can migrate your project from, let's say, Pump Fund to Bong Fund, but then you'll also get a listing on Coinbase because we bridged it over to Aerodrome, right? Like, I don't think any other team really has that type of skill set, tooling, or capabilities to do. And also it takes a lot of ground game and business development to kind of really understand how all of this works. So I think there's a lot of cross collaborative kind of things you could do there, but we'll really see. The Base ecosystem has more market cap for AI or agentic projects than Solana does. But from what I see, the Solana ecosystem is a lot more active. So, we'll kind of see. But like as we do with every product and every type of adventure, we continue to build in public, and we will, build in certain areas and make our entrance, and then we'll make decisions based off of what the market data is telling us. I've gone through enough product launches now over the last 3 years to understand that what people say they want and what people actually do are completely different. And a lot of times
Very
things
true.
are just, signal and noise. And that once you actually build something out and you implement it, the majority of people don't actually ever use it. So, we're not playing that game anymore. We're a lot more sophisticated and experienced. And so, we'll make an entrance, and then we'll let the market tell us which direction to go.
Yeah, man, 100%. I agree. I want to jump over to Agent Hustle. So it turns out, and you actually walked me through this, that I was kind of using it wrong because there's different tools and stuff that I didn't have turned on. Could you walk me through how to get to the tools and maybe the certain tools that I should have on as somebody who trades, meme coins, but is not too active with the, analyzing and stuff like that?
So there's 3 main components to Hustle in the apps. This is memory, toolbox, and conditional. These are all things that we built kind of proprietary in-house. I would say go to the toolbox itself. And this is something that we are going to be improving on. So you have 2 different types of tools, right? The trader is like the on-chain tools, and then the analyst is the off-chain tools. So with the on-chain tools themselves, right, these are the accesses to all these different launch pads, like the Pump Fund Launchpad, the Meteora Launchpad, the Launch Lab, which is the Radium Launchpad. So if you want to trade, right, and then you're going to want all of the trader ones on. If you're providing liquidity, you're going to want the liquidity pools. You can actually click on it, and it gives you a drop down. No, click on it. Yeah, just click on the bar somewhere. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll see the drop down of the explanation of what the tools do, as well as some copyable examples that you can use to have. Obviously, like if you just say show me the LST pools, then he'll show you the LST pools on Meteora. But you can change the tickers and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then on the analyst side, if you click the analyst tab at the top, these are all of the off-chain tools, right? This is to get TVL analysis, stable coins, and you could click on it again. It shows you literally drop downs for all of the different types of stuff. These are different types of APIs that we've basically converted into tools. So think of tools as like the API for AI agents. So you could go in and turn these on and off. We are going to be building some presets for this to make it a lot simpler. So you could come in and just click like trader, analyst, right? Like on-chain sleuth or whatever you want, and make it a lot more simple. We're following this in very similar model that I was explaining earlier is, hey, we're kind of first to the scene here in building out this model for customizable tooling for agentic projects. There's no other project that I'm aware of that has this type of offering. So we had to basically put it out. We launched it last month and see how users would engage with it. And, the lack of engagement, I would say, is more telling than the actual engagement. So it means that we need to curate it further. So this is like with the presets, and also our development team is experimenting with an intelligent auto tool selector, I suppose, but it's just still in like the experimental phase. And as we expand to different chains, you'll see this toolbox will offer different things, right? So like when we expand to base, this toolbox is not going to have a pump fund selection because the pump fund doesn't exist on base. So you will continue to experiment with it. The thing to keep in mind is that we have this warning up there, right, that says that as you add more tools or you turn on more toolboxes, then the quality of the AI degrades. So Anthropic actually suggests to only have 30 tools. We recommend, a maximum of 50 tools at a time, right? But really, there's like over 100 tools in there, right? Because each toolbox has 5 to 10 tools or 3 to 10 tools. And so when you have more on, it just means that he becomes slower. Because think of it like this: when you're when you're building a house like from scratch, you have literally hundreds of different tools that you need to use to build a house, right? You have to use tools to roll the concrete. You need different types of tools to set up the drywall and for the roofing. And so if you think about it, where you take all of these tools, it will take a human much longer because you have hundreds of tools in front of you. It's the same thing with like an AI, where the more tools that are on, they basically have to first read your input, so the things that you say to them, and then decide which tool is the appropriate one to use. So we're experimenting and exploring where that is, but we're also just brushing up against the edge of what the AI model capabilities can do. For example, when we first launched Hustle, the financial side with V2, you can only use 7 tools per prompt. Now it's closer to like 10 tools, and it'll continue to grow and expand as the AI model capabilities for like Grok and ChatGPT and Anthropic and such continue to grow. So yeah, it's just good to experiment with it.
Yeah, it's really cool. I do love the concept of potentially it's kind of like pick your trader, right? Like like an RPG game where it's like, what do you want to be? You want to be a tank, damage per second, a healer. So I do love that aspect of it, to where I can kind of pick what kind of trader I am, and then just have the tools that I can change on and off. But if if I am only that, then that's all I need, right? I love that concept.
Yeah, it's something that you just have to continually monitor and hear feedback for users.
Yeah.
Like the conditional trading engine has had a lot of problems with it over the few months that it's been launched. We've got the majority of them sorted out now, but there's still always going to be edge cases, because when it comes to AI, there's literally infinite amount of inputs and infinite amount of outputs, which means that there's an infinite amount of edge cases. So the best thing you could really do is try to optimize for which edge cases account for the majority of the issues, and try to solve it that way, right? With the largest problems first, and then kind of get smaller and more granular over time. And these kind of things will continue to proliferate across all these different types of chains. And so we appreciate all of the users who use it, like you guys, and all of our power users who come back and give us feedback on how to improve and where the different issues are, because that's how you win in the space. We've been kind of very loud about this, but we think keeping your product in private beta is a losing model. And from what I've seen in almost 10 years that I've been here in this industry, that there's only a few products that I've ever seen take market share while sitting in private beta for months at a time, or some even years at a time. And so we take the opposite approach, where it's, hey, put it out in public, as long as you have a thick skin and you can just take the criticism and feedback of, hey, this product sucks, or you suck, or whatever it is. There's always a lot of truth within a lot of the criticism that token holders and even outside viewers kind of cast on you. And yeah, we've done a really good job there. And I think that's why Agent Hustle is a grassroots movement that's really homegrown and is able to compete with these projects that have hundreds of millions, or in some cases even billions of dollars of funding. It's because we listen to the users, and the users actually play ball with us, and they tell us they're early to the product, and they are open to experimenting with kind of new technologies.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about the day that you guys are able to have a plugin that allows me to dominate the cupsies and the orangies. Like seriously, like that will be the day that they cry. That might be far out, but like the thing with AI that we've seen with ChatGPT, and I've seen it with Hustle, is it's ever evolving. Meaning that like whatever addition that you are experiencing today with Agent Hustle, 6 months down the road is going to be better in all aspects, and that's what I've seen with Hustle. And is that how you guys view it as well?
Yeah, it's just something that's going to take a lot of progress with AI. I posted the meme of the Trojan horse, where Migrate Fun is kind of like the Trojan horse, and Agent Hustle is the army that's inside, and it's almost like a Pandora's box, because we know that AI is going to essentially revolutionize the world in many different industries, if not all different industries. And it's going to be the same for crypto. Do I think that you're going to get an AI product that said that you just click and it makes you money? No, I don't think that's going to be the case. But what it is going to do is it's going to even the playing field with the tooling between the quant traders on Wall Street to the developers in crypto to the average crypto goer who trades, speculatively, routinely. Like, what happens when all of these different people have the same tooling available to play on an even playing field is kind of what we're building, and I expect that's where the industry is going. Do I see a lot of products launching that say, hey, deposit money here and this AI is going to make you money? I do see a bunch of those. Do I think they will work out? I think a few of them will, but I don't think these AI tools are going to essentially make you rich automatically, because at that point in time, if everyone has the alpha, it's not alpha anymore, right?
Yeah.
And then people will build kind of tools around it. I mean, in reference to like the Solana trenchers who have a bunch of copy traders, right? Like, Mike, I wonder how much of the success is just built off of people copy trading them. Is questionable, but do they have superior skills? Yes. I also don't really dive too much into kind of the KOL scan kind of community and the trenchers. It's not really my style. Obviously, we're building for those type of trenchers, but we have to build for our own type of trenchers who are looking for, I guess you would say, intelligent information to then make decisions on their behalf. Whereas like somebody like a Cupsy is just a high frequency trader who holds trades for like 10 seconds at a time. And that's not really the type of people that we're building for.
Absolutely. The people, in my opinion, that you're building for are people that want to have any chance against them. Because I have tracked their wallets. I see their activity, how they act. They're comparable to like a top 10 COD player, or Diablo player, where you're just constantly, you know what I mean? Like, in their mind clicks that fast. So does copy trading have anything to do with it? It helps them because they, if you're listening to this, don't copy trade them, because like as soon as you do, they're dumping on you. That's their, they want the liquidity underneath them, but they're so quick with it. You might be buying a $20 position. They're probably buying a 200 minimum position, and the $20 are underneath or after them, and then they're dumping. But anyways, I think like the AI part of this, to where if it can compete with that, because you got to take some of the human aspect out of it, because those people are so elite. They're at like the top of those like video game players, like I just mentioned, but the AI can compete with them, right? And I think I want that, because what that will do is that will discourage those oranges and cupsies, and it will bring some sort of like humanistic part back to hodling a little bit, you know what I mean? And then you can use the AI for research and stuff like that, because I explained it on the show earlier today. The way that like I feel like the trenches work is, those bot traders like Cupsies and Oranges and stuff like that. When it's bearish times, there's no one to push through them, because you know what I mean. Like you want to get interesting narrative coin. You get some people that bite, and then those Cupsies and all them. There's like a couple hundred traders that are just really good at this. They'll kill the coin. But when it's bullish, some people are like, nah, that narrative is good. It's good. We can make it. And they'll get a second and third round. And those Cupsies and them, they're out of that first thing. So that's how you keep the longevity going, the sustainability of these tokens. But in bearish times, people are too scared to do it, because like Ethereum's bleeding out, Solana's bleeding out, Fartcoin's back to 82 cents. You get what I'm saying? So it's just a little tougher. I guess you can just say, okay, it's market conditions. You got to deal with it. But I just kind of want there to be, I want the AI to compete with these guys that are just like,
I need help, man.
They make it so much. They're making a lot of money during the bearish time, and they're making even more during the bullish times. But like, you get what I'm saying. There's just no sustainability. And whenever it's like just mass token launches, it's like literally the market is made for them. The market is made for that group of 200 traders.
When it comes to AI, intersection to crypto, I would also kind of zoom out a little bit and think even outside of the Solana, high frequency trading blocks, and look at different chains where the whole time increases, the higher the market cap of the token, right? Or the higher I guess you would say the lower the throughput of the chain, right? So like with Bitcoin, people who are trading like Runes and BRC20 and stuff, these people are holding for like months at a time, right? And so I think AI is actually, for like agent hustle, is actually a lot better, or gives you a much bigger advantage and edge in these type of ecosystems, like on Ethereum mainnet, right? And some of these other kind of L2s, where Solana is just being optimized for, high frequency trading with meme coins. That can obviously change once Solana evolves past high, I guess you would say, high issuance token ecosystem and starts optimizing for, builders and things like that, if that ever happens. But it's hard to meet some of these people like Cupsy on their battlefield, where they're holding for 10 seconds. I don't know if AI is going to be able to compete with that, to be completely honest. I mean, these people are, I'm sure AI can compete with that at some point in the future, just not in the near term. I don't see that happening. And so, you gotta basically use the tool on different types of battlefields. And for AI right now, right, to do one single prompt to set like a conditional order will take like 20 seconds or so. At that point in time, people like those trenchers are in and out of positions before the prompt can even execute a trade, right? So you got to think about it in a different lens, where what are things that AI can do that they can't do, and what are things that they can do and that AI can't. And for those type of people, they could click buttons much faster than an AI agent can execute a prompt. And I just don't see that changing anytime in the near future.
Yeah, 100%. I have a few questions here from our guy Stan. He says, as traditional institutions enter Web3 space, what's the Emblem's long-term outlook when it comes to being acquired, partnering, or independent growth? And overall, which is best for Web3? Thanks.
It's an interesting question. It's something we talk about a lot. For Emblem side of things, it's a logistics company. It's a movement company. It's a key piece of infrastructure. What is the value of that? I'm not really sure, to be honest. That'll be for the market to decide. But who we partner, we are partnering with people who want to partner with us, and we've been growing that independently. If a company wants to come in and acquire us because they have funds and distribution where we have the technology, then that's something that we'll talk about at the cap table if that's something that's interested. As of today, there's not a company that has shown that type of interest. And so until that does change, then we're just going to continue doing the same thing that we're doing, which is partnering with people who want to build with us and growing independently until the resource situation changes.
Yeah,
great answer.
Great. Stan always has good questions. Really quick though, we're about $50 away from Ethereum's all-time high. We're sitting at 48.20 right now. Yeah. So that would be a big celebration headed into the weekend. But continue on, Chizzy.
Yeah, no problem. He has a couple more questions here. He said, and does Jake view Tom Lee and Michael Saylor as friend or foe with possible hidden nefarious intentions to conquer and theft? Where do you go with this, Dan? What do you think, Jake?
I mean, they're kind of two of the same people. I would say it's friends. I mean, they're in two different ecosystems who are now leading they're the leading treasury of each chain, of the top two chains in the industry. I don't know if there's nefarious intentions. I think everyone's intention is to just pump the price, right? Like that's the whole idea of the treasury thing. I guess you could say, like, with the Ethereum treasury, they're looking into taking the Ethereum in there and staking it and then offering yield. And there's things that Ethereum can do that Bitcoin can't. But obviously Bitcoin has a much different narrative, and it's a much higher market cap than where Ethereum is. But it is interesting to see the traditional KOLs coming out and shilling treasury companies just as a meme coin trader does. Like, everything is conforming around crypto culture, and it's being exported to the traditional trading or the traditional financial rails at a pretty high rate, and it is compounding. And it just seems like now, I wouldn't be surprised here in the next 5 years or so, by the end of the decade, like all stocks are going to be marketed just as like cryptocurrencies are, which is just like through like mimetic marketing and community and things of that nature. So it's all really merging into one. And I think crypto has really won this culture war.
Yeah, 100%. And his last question here is Jake familiar with his team member fancying the Solana Seeker? If so, how close is Emblem making it happen? So I think Adam, or was it Adam or Chris who was
I think it was
talking about
Adam.
this?
I think it was Adam last
Adam.
week.
Yeah, he wants to get potential hustle into the Seeker. How would you feel about something like that?
I mean, it's just business expansion, right? I mean, it's like saying, how do you feel about free money? Right? Like, of course, I
Yeah,
love that. That's always an option. It's much different though. Like actually making that happen. This has happened consistently in our Telegram over the last 8 months or so. Although it's changing now that things are happening, but people in the Telegram's like, why don't you get crypto Kaleo to shill your token? Or it's like, why isn't Totally shilling your token? Or why aren't you listed on Gate? Right. And it's like, it's not as simple as like, hey, list my token, right? It's like Gate wants $500,000 for a listing, right? Totally interacting with the people that he wants to, right? These people are not everything is just like, hey, do this. It's you have to go through the business development of that, and every team has their own resources, their own situation, their own preferences, and their own kind of corporate rules that they follow by. And so, would I love Hustle to be in the Seeker? Yeah. What does that actually mean? I don't know, right? Like, what is Hustle? Like you're saying, like Hustle becomes the AI
Siri.
companion of the Seeker. Maybe is kind of what that is. Like, yeah, that would be the shit, right? Like Banker being integrated into Coinbase app has done like significant volume for Banker and shown a lot of attention and awareness. Do we need something like that for Agent Hustle? Yeah, absolutely. We would love for something like that, and we're exploring different types of partnerships with different chains to see if that's capable and different types of wallets. And we'll see. It's again, we just continue to move forward with the resources that we have and the relationships that we can do to make all of this stuff possible.
Dude, I would actually buy a Solana phone if I could be like, hey, Hustle, what meme coins are running right now? Right. And it just tells me what's going on. That would be phenomenal if Hustle was the Siri of God damn, Siri keeps calling my phone every time I say it. It would be cool if that would be the case, man. That's absolutely amazing. That would be amazing.
I mean, we have the tooling for that. We have the Hustle SDK that any Solana team can use to build their own companion. I think the interest is just quite light because the technology is so new, and the majority of these companies and teams do not want to take the risk, because if you integrate Hustle into the Seeker and it backfires, then the whole value of the Seeker fund, right, it takes a haircut because of that type of integration. So what a lot of these larger companies are looking for is adoption, and we're just not quite there yet. Obviously, we're one of the highest AI coins by market cap on Solana, which is significant, but it's still like a $15 million market cap, which is nothing incomparable. A lot of these teams are looking for 100, 200, 300, $1 billion market cap before they even make the decision, or you need literally thousands of daily active users, and we're just not quite there yet. It goes back literally to conversation I was having with one of my buddies who's a big Hustle user. He's like, when you expand to these XYZ chains, how many users are you expecting to onboard? And I'm like, I have no fucking idea, man. Like, there's no way for me to predict that,
10.
right? Like, you go expand to this new chain that has no AI adoption. How many people are going to be interested in the AI? I have no idea, right? That's why we go there and we try these things out and kind of see. Or like another question was like, how much TAM, right? How much value do you think will Hustle accrue or in deposits once you expand to base and EVM? I'm also like, I have no idea, right? You have AI players that are there already. You also have in these new chains no AI adoption, and it's just asking the question of like, how many people on this new chain are interested in AI? How many of them are interested in experimenting? And how much of them have the knowledge to even understand what's going on? And a lot of these ecosystems, I have no idea. It's like traveling to a new country and saying like, it'd be like me traveling to China and somebody asking me like, hey, what restaurants are you going to go to? And I'm like, I have no idea. I've never been there. I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
I'll know more once I get there. And that's kind of the same situation we have with expanding to different chains. It's a whole new country and I don't really know.
Yeah.
And I don't really know the community until we actually kind of start the process.
Yeah. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, one of the statements that you made was, there's not any AI adoption on that chain and stuff. Do you think that we need to change the way we view chains and adoption to them? Because, like, from a business marketing perspective, that's my background. That's what I went to school for, and I actually, like, my family was in business, so I was able to implement that right away while I was finishing my degree. But it was like, it's so much easier to recruit users in Web 2 because they don't give a shit about the chain. They don't give a crap about the technology. I mean, there has to be a time and point where that perspective just changes. Like, don't tell them about the chain. Like, let's start adopting like fucking regular people and say, this is a badass product. Use it for your life or something like that.
Well, that's the way that we're trying to market Agent Hustle. Is it's just an AI terminal that allows you to interact with crypto, right? And so you try to then fold in all these chains and try to do it in a frictionless way where, let's say somebody who comes to Hustle, we have a bunch of Hustle users who are just like your everyday person who doesn't really know anything. So if we have Solana and then all of a sudden one day there's a button for Base and you get the whole Base ecosystem, the question is how many of these users are going to actually interact with it? And then do they become a Base user because of the Hustle interface, right? That's going to be probably the multi-billion-dollar question, which is the chicken or the egg question that I've asked many times. And it's going to be to be determined, which is, do the users create the demand for AI products or does the AI create the demand for the users, right? So like, for example, if when we expand Hustle to Stacks, right? And because we've been talking with the Stacks community and they want it, because Stacks is integrated into Hustle and this AI starts recommending all of these tokens on Stacks to these people, does that then create the demand and speculation that the ecosystem needs to then onboard new people because they're like, oh shit, there's this new AI tool that's recommending all these tokens and people are making all this money. Now I want to participate in it, right? And then once you start having these users trading with AI in these new ecosystems that are only getting, 6 figures or 7 figures a day in trading volume, now all of a sudden that doubles because there's an AI tool, right? Does that lead to more users to Agent Hustle? Does that lead to new projects to that chain? Or is it the opposite, right? Is it that because these users on Stacks are interested in AI, that they're bringing the demand, which therefore then brings new demand, right? So, it's something to figure out. And I guess we would say it's probably the quality of the AI. I mean, you look at things like Hanon and Banker, who have both now expanded to multiple chains. And I haven't seen on Banker, there's they've expanded to kind of Solana and some of these other L2s, but it does seem like the demand still stays on Base, where it's like with Hanon, I see that they've expanded to like Avalanche and some of these other ones, but it still seems like the demand is kind of on Base or on their kind of exchange trading products. And so it'll be the question for Hustle, which is, when we expand to new chains, can the quality of the agentic product increase the demand and use for these new chains? Or is it because we started on Solana that people are just comfortable trading on Solana and that's kind of where their edge is? It's something that we're going to have to find out.
Yeah, no, I agree. I guess my final question is for you is, have you heard about this thing called Trench Kitty?
Tell me about it.
So Trench Kitty,
look at that trading channel or that price action channel.
I love the fact that we didn't explode up. We kind of just been sitting here, went up sideways and stuff like that. But so Trench Kitty started on Solana, and we opened the bridge up on Wednesday, and 40% of the supply is now on Bitcoin. Not really actively trading yet, but it's hard to trade on Magic Eden when you don't have that blue check mark yet. So we're kind of getting there. But what do you think about that coin that started on Solana? And I mean, you're all about interoperability, so I thought you would appreciate that 100%.
So it's a bonk coin? It looks like it was launched on Launch Lab. Is that what I see?
Yep. It was launched on.
It's pretty good. 175K, 50K in liquidity, 200 holders. The trading channel looks pretty good. It's been about almost a week since it's been live. Yeah, I think the interoperability to runes is interesting. I saw when you guys had done that. The question is still with the runes, right? Which is like, who's going to be the winning DEX? What's the winning kind of meta protocol, and how many people are actually going to be interested in it. The experimentation is cool, and I'm obviously really bullish on runes. The infrastructure has progressed at the rate that which we kind of expected, right? That's why we did like the keys unlock in Q3. Although I did think the infrastructure would be a little bit further along than where it is today, but it's Bitcoin and shit's hard. And also, people just continue to FUD it, which obviously weeds out a lot of the builders who don't have thick skin and can't really cut through it, or they run out of funds. And we'll kind of see, but the experimentation is good. And also too, with these meme coins, the issue we ran into with Tensorium, and still kind of to this day, is that you have so much of the supply distributed that it's hard to get, volatility upwards because there's so many people who are holding and so many people who want to sell at every second of the day. And so even just moving that over to runes and taking that off, and probably the majority of people have no idea that it's even bridged over. So now you only have to trade 50% of the supply, and you could let the smart arbitrageurs trade on runes and then kind of bridge it back and forth with is it Rune Mine that you guys were using?
Yep. Yeah, we use Rune Mine. Yep. And if anyone wants to do it, you can just go to trenchkitty.com, and we have the bridge right there. To click a button, and it'll take you right to Rune Mine, and easy. So we made it super easy. The only problem is, it does show 39.8% is in one wallet, right? But if you look into it, it's the bridge wallet. So that's like the only thing that I think is affecting this thing from really kind of pushing up, and that's education by us, right? We just have to educate people and talk about Rune Mine and everything that they're building there. But the reason, like to your point, the reason we wanted to take it to runes is strong holder count, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's just like those guys don't sell. Like you see it. I mean, you see a lot of trading happening, but for the majority of the wallets, I mean, those tokens just sit in those wallets for months and months. So that was another reason we got the Solana fast-paced traders who like to trade in and out, and we got the runes people who just hold. And I think it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, I think so as well. You'll probably have to go get you'll probably have to get in contact with Dex Screener to get like a note on there to say like this is a bridged coin or something like that.
Okay.
It's the back end administrative work and detailing of coins, different types of mechanics is heavily optimized for meme coins on Solana. It's actually somewhat disappointing, and I've said this publicly many times, because the way that all of the labeling is that they want all the liquidity locked. They want all of the token supply distributed into different wallets and all these things, or else it's considered a rug, and all of these different types of labeling. But when you're trying to be a large project and transparent, like you can't do that, or else you're considered a rug. So it's a tough situation. I do think this kind of small thing does hold the Solana ecosystem back, but you're just gonna have to probably contact Dex Screener and get in contact with them.
I mean, we paid $300 for this damn freaking.
Dude, they made like 70. I think they made like $70 million this year or something.
Oh my god!
It's like crazy business.
Insane. And that was the biggest like domination switch I've seen in a lot of different business situations, was Dex Screener taking, and it's such a plain like layout initially, that weird eagle logo, and they took over Dex Tools. Remember 2020, 2021, that was the king, and now no one uses it no more.
Now look for Moby Screener, who's one of the projects who's using Migrate Fun to migrate. They'll be like the second largest token on Bonk when that's done, I believe. Nice. And they have a pretty good product as well. And so there's going to be people coming to eat Dex Screener's lunch. I mean, $70 million and just literal, that's no work on their behalf, just for metadata updates. Like, that's a crazy business model to be a part of.
Crazy.
100%. Well, Jake, man, this has been absolutely amazing. Thank you. So I know how busy you are, man. For giving us an hour a week is absolutely amazing. But thank you. We'd love to get stage one last time to talk to our community about anything that maybe you missed.
Just buy the Hustle token, participate in the future of intelligence and interoperability. It's going to be a big September with migrations, as well as pushing a lot of updates to Agent Hustle and starting our EVM expansion, which our development team is currently working on. So it's going to be exciting. I think we're also looking to hire another backend developer, interviewing a few people. So if we can expand our dev team to 5, I think that puts us in a pretty good situation here. So lots to look forward to for the remainder of the year.
Love it. Appreciate you, sir. We'll talk to you next week.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too.
See you, Jake. Absolutely awesome. As always, Jake is absolutely phenomenal. Did ETH hit the all-time high or just barely? I'm just curious.
No, so it's at 48. Here, I can pull up my screen.
I'm seeing 48.5 was high for today. That's pretty big.
Oh, 48,500. Yeah. So
Well, 48.50, yeah.
Yeah, or sorry, that's what I meant. Yeah, but I think the all-time high with I'm counting the wick because it does touch that is 48.60.
Insane, dude. Up 14% today. That's wild.
48.73. It looks like.
Yeah, man. So sorry, guys. We're just jaw dropped at ETH's move today. So absolutely amazing. It's funny how crazy it came back and retested this. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Like that is insane.
What is that? What is that?
That's that 4080. Remember?
Yeah. That it retested, but it bounced. It bounced like really well. And I mean, you gotta give Murray some credit. He called the ping pong action, which there was technically one ping pong on the downside, one ping pong bounce on the upside, one more on the downside, and then here we are today. So trading this, the scalpers probably, if you got honestly, last night was the entry after the candle close because it closed below. No, it closed above the 41.50 or something like that on the downside. You take that long position there, but I will say you had to be pretty brave because I mean, yes, I know a lot of people, including yourself. I'll give you credit. You called it. You said this, which I got. I mean, I know you were listening to the radio show, but you still made that statement out there. Like that's a ballsy call there. That's a ballsy trade for sure. Especially with the Fed speaking, you don't know how he's going to be. I honestly, just because of the way he's acted in the past, I expect him to be stubborn about it. So,
well, if you think about it, he's around 70 people, right? He's having conversation. Everyone's going to talk to Jerome, even for a few minutes, right? So he's getting everyone's kind of opinion, and I think that really like let's just cut rates, you know what I mean? And it's I'm worried about the job market. You get that constantly, it's going to get in your head. You're talking to 70 people, 46 of them say, hey, I'm a little worried about the jobs market. And you're like, what am I missing here? And let's not be stubborn. It kind of takes the heat off. Jackson Hole's a very relaxed, from my understanding, very relaxed meeting. They're having drinks, they're eating dinner, they're having breakfast together, they're having drinks later that night. They wake up in the morning, their wives are there. It's a very relaxed
play golf,
right?
maybe.
And they play golf. Exactly. So I had a feeling that he was going to come in a little dovish today, and he was. So, but that's our show, guys. Absolutely amazing. 890 people in here today. Absolutely amazing. Appreciate every single one of you guys. Bye TK, and that's all I got for you guys.
Yes, appreciate each and every one of you guys for a Friday. Almost 900 people. We are so excited about growing this new community into our overall community, the Trench Kitty community, into the on-chain revolution community. Do your part in terms of spreading the news. And also, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. Without you guys, we could not do this. We wouldn't be able to do this. So we're so thankful for you guys. Also, without our partners, we couldn't do it. So if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate it. And we know you will because you guys are awesome. But Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes or alkanes, you got to do it at satsterminal.com. Why? Because you will earn Amber points. The first time you connect your wallet to satsterminal.com, you earn 1,000 Amber points. That's a lot of Amber points. And then also you earn by making swaps and transactions on the platform. Also, they have a new borrowing and lending product that's coming out for Bitcoin. So if you want to be a part of that beta test group, reach out to their X account. Go message them. This is an opportunity. If you've always wanted to get connected with a network to get your foot in the door, these are the opportunities you got to take advantage of. Head over to their X account. It's at Sats Terminal, and message them. Let them know you want to be a part of the testing of their borrow product there. But head over to satsterminal.com to learn more today. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer of the Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your ordinals from Bitcoin to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. You can actually take your Taproot Wizard and take it to Ethereum and take out a loan against it on the Gandhi application, which is the largest borrowing and lending platform for NFTs on Ethereum. They're going to open up to more collections and blockchains as well. Probably expect something from Abstract, Base, Arbitrum, possibly Merlin, and of course Solana is in that mix. And speaking of Solana, you can use their product, their AI product called AI Agent Hustle, which in my opinion is the best AI product in the Solana ecosystem and a top product overall in the crypto ecosystem. But you can use Hustle to get you through the trenches of Solana, and that is you need help. So that's all I'll say. Hustle can get you some, safe plays. You just ask him, hey, give me a couple, 2, 3, 4 safe 2 to 5x plays. He'll bring back some options for you and give you reasons why he thinks these are good options for the 2 to 5x plays. Also, you can use Hustle to make conditional trades. So you can set up a conditional trade like, hey, buy Fartcoin when it drops 20%. Exit in that same trade when I'm up 100% in profit there, and you can do whatever you need to do. He'll take care of it for you. The last part of the Hustle ecosystem is the Migrate Fun part, which if you launched a token on Pump Fund or another launchpad and you want to migrate it over to another launchpad or just manage your own LPs so you can earn more, you got to use Migrate Fun. It's a really simple process. They will walk you through it. You reach out to the Emblem team, and they can add you possibly to the next cohort if it makes sense for both sides. So head over to Migrate Fund to learn more about that. And lastly, is there TGE for the Bitcoin Rune? And that is the plan right now, but it's on block 915,000. They will release these founder vaults, which they're actually, it's really cool how they're doing this. These are ERC 721s, meaning that they live on Ethereum. And you can buy one of these NFTs on OpenSea if you just search founder vaults. And again, on block 915,000, they will open up and you'll have a Bitcoin wallet with a seed phrase in there with your Bitcoin runes. Really cool way that they're doing this TGE. If you have any questions, head over to emblem.vision and contact them through their Discord or their X account there. But check them out. Awesome team. You just heard from Jake for an hour. We have him every Friday for the Emblem Hour, so make sure you catch that as well. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. These guys are building something really special. They're going to be the first to offer Bitcoin fungible synthetic tokens to trade, like Doggo to the Moon, Billion Dollar Cat, Sats, Ordi, whatever is in demand in terms of Bitcoin fungibles, they will have there. Also, they're going to have synthetic derivatives like MicroStrategy, Coinbase for you guys to trade. But right now, you can trade for Bitcoin or Ethereum as they are live on the Botanix Spider Chain, which is a Bitcoin layer 2. And you can earn points by making transactions on their platform. The biggest multiplier of points, though, is adding liquidity to their vaults. And you can do that, and then you can earn passive income as well as the most points possible on their platform. But you will earn double points as Botanix is also tracking the points earned by transactions on their chain. So make sure you guys are taking advantage of it. I think Shizzy got into a trade earlier today. I think he's probably up because everything jumped up there. But yeah, now he's down. I guess he got into, but he top blasted it. But yeah,
no. What I did was I shorted it.
Oh
remember?
yeah, that's right.
After
he longed, he made money and then he shorted. That's right. I remember that.
And I'm down 38%, $13.
Okay.
Well, this is a couple bucks. I'm doing it for the
Yeah.
points.
Exactly. Do it for the points. But yeah, guys, head over to Artura.finance. We have a new live branded segment with them. It's the Artura Show every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you join that and join their Discord if you want to be around like-minded people that want to learn about trading. Head over to Artura.finance today. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that is building for the best UI and UX for all their users' experiences. They support Bitcoin, Cardano, and now Sui as well. You can trade for Bitcoin runes directly on their application as they partner with SAS Terminal, and you can trade for Cardano tokens as well, like SNEC or FLDT or Toke, their token, as they partner with Dex Hunter there. And then they do have an aggregator partner on the Sui side as well, so you can swap for Sui tokens. And they're going to be adding more ecosystems, guys. But it's a very user-friendly platform. If you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play, download the application, test it out, let us know your thoughts. We'll pass it over to the team. And then also there's an alpha section, if you scroll to the very bottom, where there's YouTubers there. You'll find us there along with other YouTube channels like Cryptos Are Us and more as well. So really awesome team. They are super busy right now trying to get onboarded to the Sui ecosystem. So make sure you're following them on X because they're having kind of like the Bitcoin Blitz, but they're doing it for the Sui. I think it's called Sui Surge. And you'll be educated on Sui and Bitcoin kind of fusion type of projects. So it's really, really educational. Head over to Tokyo.io today. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI with their Wizard 0.3. And you can use their wizard to guide you through the Merlin Chain ecosystem and do DeFi functions on your behalf. like staking and swapping, but their version 0.4 is right around the corner. And that to me is what I'm very excited about, because you can do cross-chain swaps as well. If I have Merlin Bitcoin on the Merlin chain, I can actually use the wizard and buy Trench Kitty on Solana. So really cool stuff. You can do stuff on BNB chain as well. That's going to be coming out very, very soon. And you can use that as research tools. You can ask, hey, give me the top 10 wallets in Fartcoin. It'll bring all the wallets. You can ask for details as well. So we have really two awesome partners with two really cool AI products. Really excited about that. But if you're looking to be a part of their proof of stake system for their security model for their chain, you can actually, there's three options. The first one has to do with Bitcoin. Stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. You earn on average 16% APR. It's amazing for staking Bitcoin. It is locked up until September 30th. So just know that if you do stake there, but it's a great opportunity in my opinion. And then you have two options for Merlin chain token, the Merl token. The first one is the flexible option, and you earn 15% APR every day. You can claim those rewards and compound them into your staking vault. So really awesome that you can do that. If you do want to withdraw from the staking vault for the day-to-day, it does take 7 days to cool down period. So don't freak out. That's just part of the protocol here. And then the last option is a 6-month lockup for the Merlin chain token. You earn 45% APR, but you can still claim the rewards and compound interest those rewards. So really awesome options there. This team is crushing it. Head over to merlinchain.io to learn more. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive, Fonzie and his team. Ordinal Hive is the fastest ordinal marketplace in the market. You get your Bitcoin right away if you sell an ordinal. Also, they aggregate from all the marketplaces, so you can find pretty much anything here. You're going to find the best price as well. And then they have an amazing dashboard with trader tools like live mempool insights in case someone accidentally fat fingers a node monkey and sells it for $250. You can grab it real quick. They let you know what's in there and the price that's in there. And also you can earn points, as they're going to be giving a future give back as well. So head over to ordinalhive.io today. We appreciate you guys for checking out our partners. We really greatly appreciate you guys.
Yep. Great job, man. As always. And you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out onchainrevolution.io. Some of the best articles, guys. Articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering a space, please send them our website. We really feel like you help them get started and caught up to where we are today. Definitely check out our new article all about Trench Kitty. If you don't know what Trench Kitty is, you can learn exactly what it is from here to get you interested even further if you're not already. And then if you guys go back, every article is like a 2 or 3 minute read. They're very quick. You guys can go week to week to week and kind of see what is going on in the market that's hot that week. And this is, in my opinion, the hottest thing that has happened. So definitely check that out. And also, if you guys need a VPN, I highly recommend NordVPN. We have a 70% off coupon here, guys, and they have threat protection powered by AI. I use this every single day. If you do not have a VPN, go get a VPN. There is free ones out there, but they suck. I've used them all. I love this. And for $3 a month, I feel protected. I feel safe. I locked it in for 2 years. Set it, forget it, done with it. I'll talk to you in 2027. And yeah, that's all you got to do, right? And then you potentially get back in. If you do sign up for 3 months, you will have, and 3 months is up and you want to like reactivate it, you're going to have to pay this $11.59. So that's why I locked mine for 3 years, 2 years. But you can do whatever you want. If you want to do this to 1 month for $309, you can do that as well. But check out everything with that at this is onchainrevolution.io. And if you go back, you can click up here and see our merch. We do have some brand new Trench Kitty merch. You go up here and you type in Trench. It should come up. Boom. There's the hoodie, brand new hoodie. Just add it. I'm actually going to be purchasing this. I got to do it this weekend because I really want this. It's hoodie season's coming. We're probably about 30 days away from hoodie season. And I want this to be my hoodie of choice. Shout out to Trench Kitty and all you guys, man. And also, too, I did want to start doing this as well. You guys can check out trenchkitty.com. This is the website. We're going to have all types of announcements in here. Everything you guys need. We'll have the buy buttons. This is the bridge to Bitcoin where you can set, you can bridge the Trench Kitty to Bitcoin and everything else. So definitely check out everything here at onchainrevolution.io and trenchkitty.com. Check them both out, guys. And remember, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until Monday,
peace.
OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go, Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear traps. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction. OnChain.